Hello everyone, today I am here to do a clean romance book recommendations. I get a lot of requests to recommend some clean romances. And what are clean romances? Basically, they're romances without any of like the steamy times in them. These are books that don't have that are full of romance and things like that, but don't go as far as the physical things like that. So like I said, I've gotten a lot of requests for it. It's taken me a while to find some recommendations that I've read before, but here we are. Hopefully all of these are clean. I know, like, I'm pretty sure the majority of them are, but there might be a couple that I recommended that maybe have a little bit, but they're not overtly. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some books that are very, very steamy, very, very graphic. These I recommend today are definitely not. So just so you're aware of that, in case you want a clean romance book, check out, these recommendations. First up, I have Sophie Kinsella. I think Sophie Kinsella is a kind of clean romance book because her books are more focused on the kind of funnier side of like romance. I call them chick lit books. And the two I want to recommend, of course, is I've Got Your Number, my favorite book by her. This is about a character named Poppy who at the beginning of the book is engaged and she thinks everything's going great, and then she loses her engagement ring, and somehow she also loses her phone, and so she ends up with a phone of like this assistant's phone that works for a guy named Sam. And of course, he wants his phone back, and she's like, I need a phone. And so they start communicating and romance may happen. And it's just a funny book. Any Sophie Kinsella book is just going to make you laugh, honestly. That's just how I feel. And this one was funny. Like, there's a scene, I think, when they go in the woods, they maybe share a first kiss, but it doesn't go overly graphic at all. It's just more about the kind of yearning that they have, and you could tell that they really want to be together, but because of extenuating circumstances, they can't. And again, it's hilarious, so I really enjoyed it. We also have My Not So Perfect Life, also by Sophie Kinsella. This follows a character named Katie who works as like she's like a marketing person, I think, and then she gets, I think, laid off. And so basically she moves in back with her dad and like kind of her new stepmom, and they want to start a glamping business. And what's that? It's kind of a glorified camping, like I'd probably be good at glamping. I love outdoors, but camping, no, I'm just bears, murderers. No, I'm good. I'm good. Snakes too. I don't know. Anyway, basically the whole book is about her helping them set up their business. And one of the first people that get there to the glamping camp is her boss that like ended up laying her off, that has no recollection who she is. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to make my ex-bosses the worst time here. And that's kind of the whole book. Again, very, very funny. It's got a very small dose of romance in it. Not that much, but it's romance enough to recommend it for this book, to recommend it for this video. But again, if you just want like kind of a funnier time when it comes to romance, these books are great for that. Then we have Evie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes. This one is also kind of a literary fiction one, but I think has enough romance in it. So in this book, we follow a character named Evie. At the beginning of this book, she's going to leave her husband because she's just in a loveless marriage. He doesn't appreciate her. Like, she's already packed her bags and everything. And then when she's literally about to leave, she gets word that sadly her husband has passed away. And so everyone in this small town that she lives in has always thought she's been in such a great marriage. And so when, she learns that he dies, she's not like crazy sad about it, but she has to portray that because everyone thinks that she's sad. Anyway, she also meets this baseball pitcher that used to be a great baseball pitcher, but then he got the yips pretty much. He just can't pitch anymore. There's no physical reason why. It's all mental for him, and he wants to like go to a small town to like kind of get a break. And so he moves in with Evie because she's kind of got like this suite in her house, and they start up a friendship. It's very, very, just adorable, very mature and things like that. And it's just a great book for small towns, and also it's just adorable. I loved it. It's a fall read, I would say, maybe a spring read, I don't know, but either way, it's kind of like light romance where it's more about characters really getting to know each other before they get to that physical stage, and that's not the most important thing to them, if that makes any sense, but it's mostly about them becoming friends first. And it's just, I love it. It's one of my favorite books of all time, honestly. Then we have Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousins. This again is another kind of women's fiction book. In this book, we follow a character named Laura, and her job is like she interviews couples that are about to get married of how they met, and she's always done that. And her place where she's working at is kind of struggling for ideas. And so Laura's always known that her parents, who have both passed away, has known that they had such a beautiful love story. And so her boss is like, you know what? Explore it. Let's explore that story. Go to where they met. You figure it out. So she goes to this island in Jersey and she basically tries to figure out her parents' love story. And the more she figures it out, she learns that her mom may have over romanticized it and made it much more beautiful with rose-colored glasses than it was. And then she also meets a guy named Ted, who is like the taxi driver there, and they form a friendship that could be a romance relationship. But again, this is about two characters that are really set on knowing each other first. They build up a lot of the book becoming friends before getting on to that ... But there's, like I said, there's no overly graphic things in this book. It's more of a women's fiction book, but it was cute. I would say it's a good, clean romance, honestly. Then we have What You Wish For by Catherine Center. This is about a character named Catherine who, no, this is about a character named Samantha who is a librarian, and basically she learns that her principal that she loves so much is leaving and there's going to be a new principal, and she learns of this guy named Duncan, and she is excited because she used to work with Duncan at another school and he was so fun and vibrant, and she's like, this is going to be so great for the school. But when he gets there, he is completely different. He is just kind of cold, calculated, not very fun. He's just like down to business, and she's like, well, crap, like what happened? She's like, crap, like what happened? Like what changed this guy? So the whole book she's trying to figure out what has changed him. Also, she's had a crush on him for forever, so maybe filling that out. But I would recommend any of Catherine Center's books. I think none of them are overly like steamy by far. I think maybe there's kissing in it, but that might be it. So, but this one for sure, I don't think was any like overly graphic scenes at all, and it's just an adorable romance story. Then we have Heartland, which I know for sure is a very clean romance. I would dare to say it's almost like kind of a Christian fiction book, which there's no shame in that at all. But this book follows a character named Grace, who is a fashion designer, and basically she moves back to her small town in Iowa, and she kind of starts up fashion again with kind of her grandmother and things like that. And she also runs into her like high school sweetheart that she still kind of has feelings for, and it's just a really adorable book. This one definitely is very clean. There's not a lot of romance in it at all. Well, there's romance in the fact of them getting to know each other again, like I said, a lot in these books, but there's no like overly graphic scenes. There's no like a lot of anything really. I didn't love this book, honestly, because I think I wanted to be more romantic than it was. But if you're looking for a good, clean romance, this book will do. Then we have Much Ado About You by Samantha Young. This is about a character named Evangeline. Is that the right? Yeah. She lives in like Chicago, and she's like, I'm sick of this hustle and bustle. I'm ready to get out. I'm ready to peace out. So she gets a job and moves to this really small English town and works at this bookstore called Much Ado About Books. And so she loves books, so she's happy about that. And there she meets this kind of farmer guy, because there's that trope with always moving to a small town, and either the guy she meets is either going to be like a farmer or a carpenter or like a hotel owner. It's going to be one of those, if not all three. Oh my gosh. Or if not all three, like all three in one. Either way, she meets him and a relationship occurs or friendship occurs. Again, not a lot of like physical things happen in this book, just so you're aware. Not one of my overly favorite ones, but again, a good, clean romance book to recommend. And the last one I want to recommend to you is Twice Shy by Sarah Hoggle. This is about a character named Maybelle who is not having a great life. Like, she works at this crappy place and she's like, I want to get out of this. And somehow she ends up inheriting her great aunt's like old home. It's like a huge mansion that she spent time there as a child. She's like very excited about it. So she goes there and she's like, I'm going to clean this house out because it's been very severely neglected, and I'm going to make it like a hotel like it once used to be a long time ago. But then she learns that there's another guy there who's actually the caretaker of like the grounds. He's like the groundskeeper. And his name is Wesley, and he also inherited, so she gave it both to them. And he wants to make it an animal sanctuary. So they're like, oh my gosh. So they basically decide to team up together and make it both an animal sanctuary and a, you know, hotel, if you will. And this is pretty much like a Hallmark movie. If you want a cute, fluffy Hallmark movie in a book, Twice Shy is the book for you, because it's all about them redoing this whole house and developing a relationship, and it's overly cute, and I enjoyed it. Again, overly Hallmarky. So if you're a person that loves stuff like that, you will really enjoy this book. So there you have some clean romance book recommendations. I hope I recommended them. I hope I recommended enough to you, and I hope that they are really clean. And if not, I really apologize, but I'm pretty sure none of them have very graphic scenes in them, and I would love to know if you appreciate these recommendations. If you don't, just let me know. But I've had a lot of people ask me about them, so I thought it would warrant its own video. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.